Concern that I have about this is, one, we have an impeached president who is making commander-in-chief decisions. And look, it's still within his power, but it's kind of like someone who's, we've already determined that you're not responsible. Why do you still have the keys to the car? So that concerns me about what the motivation is. The second reason is, even if he's considered a threat, it's not like he's hidden, right? It's not like he's, Osama bin Laden, where it's like this guy might disappear for 10 years if we don't get him. I mean, there were different ways that he could be approached, that the president could have actually interacted with Congress or even certain committees and said, hey, look, I think we need permission to do this. So those, I think, are the questions that we have now. Yes, we know he was a bad guy, but when you engage in this kind of behavior, which could have long-term dangerous consequences, not just for America, but for our allies around the world, I don't trust that this president is the most responsible person, or most presidents, to make these kinds of decisions.
Well, and the congressional Democrats, just in the last 12 hours, have sort of shifted their bucket of concerns, and we showed Chris Murphy articulating this pretty succinctly, to the assassination is done. He's dead, responsible for the death of hundreds of American soldiers. So it's a good thing. What is the plan now?
Right.
That seems to be, and I don't know, maybe I'll sound like I read too many Christmas fairy tales. You would think there would be a bipartisan interest in what the plan is now, no?
Well, there would be if President Trump consulted anyone on the other side of the aisle before he made this unilateral decision that is throwing the country into a crisis of his own making. I mean, surely Democrats want to be involved in that decision-making process, and it should be bipartisan. We don't have to think too far back to the 2018 midterms, and poll after poll showed voters were more interested in supporting Democratic candidates to act as a check on President Trump's power. This is exactly the fear that voters have, that congressional Democrats have. When the president acts in this isolationist way that goes back to the way he ran his 2016 campaign, which was making America great again, introducing these America First policies that were all about, yes, America first, but it was really about Trump having as much control as he could possibly have if afforded the presidency. And now we see the lengths that he can go when he is afforded that power.
Carol, there's a very badly kept secret that a lot of the national security advisors around Trump viewed their role as sort of looking out for U.S. national security, trying to protect it in some ways from Trump's impulses. That was a dynamic with Dina Powell and H.R. McMaster around some of the Russia questions and Russia flashpoints. I wonder if you've picked up in your reporting any sense that Pompeo, with knowing that Jared would be sympathetic and maybe at family dinner would defend the decision, was there any sense that Trump was led to this, or do you have any sense that Trump led his team to this?
It's a good question. I think that if you go back and